Are you home or at home? In the office or at the office? Are you listening to this podcast at your house or in your house? Those tricky English prepositions always cause trouble. Until today. Let's discuss.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 721, on versus at. Among the various aspects of learning English, prepositions seem to cause more problems than anything else. In particular, a lot of listeners to the podcast have told me that understanding when to use in and when to use at to talk about location tends to be confusing. Well, today, I'm going to help you out with exactly that. Let's dive in. Here are two sentences. Kate is in her office. Kate is at her office. What's the difference? Well, the fact is that in everyday English conversation, these two sentences, Kate is in her office and Kate is at her office, have little difference in meaning and can be generally used interchangeably. That's because when we speak in a general way, we can use either at or in to describe a location. However, at and in have some specific uses and meanings when you need to be less general and more specific. What I'm going to talk about next is what we tend to do, and tend to do is the key concept here. It's what we tend to do. When we use the be verb to talk about location, we tend to use in when we talk about the location. In simply goes with the be verb to tell us the location. Here are some examples of this. I was in the lounge for an hour waiting for my flight. Noriko is in a cafe on Madison Avenue. Tammy was in the library all afternoon. She sure likes to study. I was in the lounge. Noriko is in a cafe. Tammy was in the library. In goes with the be verb. On the other hand, when we talk about an action using an action verb, we tend to use at to talk about the location. At gives us the nuance about something that happens at a location. At goes with an action verb. Here are some examples of that. I had lunch at the lounge while I was waiting for my flight. Remy had a cappuccino at a cafe on Madison Avenue. Elena likes to study at the library because it's nice and quiet there. Again, this is what we tend to do. Can I say, I had lunch in the lounge? Sure I can. Just like I can say, I was at the lounge. But the key idea here is that we tend to use in with the be verb and at with an action verb. That said, we also have some set phrases with in and at which have particular meanings. Let's look at those next. The first set is in the hospital and at the hospital. If I say Jack is in the hospital, it means he's a patient there. But if I say Jack is at the hospital, it means that he's visiting someone, or he works there, or maybe he went there to pick up some medicine. By the way, For all of you British English fans, when they talk about a patient, they usually say that Jack is in hospital without the. That's one of those differences between American and British English. In a similar way, we have in jail and at the jail. If I say the bank robber is in jail, it means he's incarcerated. In other words, when the bank robber is in jail, it means he is a prisoner. The police officer is at the jail. This means that he's working there or doing some official business there. The third set is in college and at college. Jenny's daughter is in college now. In college means she is a college student now. But if I say that Jenny's daughter is at college, this has a nuance that Jenny's daughter is away from home, living on a college campus, and probably in a dormitory. Keep in mind, the best way to remember this and any other word or phrase in English is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. By the way, can you imagine getting the chance to practice this kind of English with me directly? You can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends, join us for live group coaching every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, or to see some of the example sentences from this lesson, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose Podcast Lesson 721. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.